East FM, where it is coming up to 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. This is The Late Breakfast. I'm your host, Phil, and as promised, we've got a special guest in the studio. Over the last month or so, we've been talking about the Crawford Wellness Centre, which has opened up over the last 2 or 3 months at number 2 Picton Street, and we've been having psychologists in here, we've had skincare experts, we've had audiologists, we've had fit experts, all sorts of things like that. And we're joined this morning by Melissa from Life Cycles. Morning, Melissa. How's it all going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Thank you for being here. Now, you're part nowadays of the Crawford Wellness thing, which is a new step, I guess, for Crawford's. How did you get involved with that side of things?
Yeah, it's really exciting, actually, and I think a really good fit. So I've been a midwife in the area for about 20 years. I'm also a naturopath and a acupuncturist, and so I have been working with, mainly women in the area for a really long time. And with Crawford opening up this wellness center, it just really gives me an opportunity to showcase some of the the modalities that I use in combination to help to work with clients. My business is called Life Cycles, and so the idea is that I'm supporting people, mostly women, through the different cycles of life. And so, as you can imagine, with my work being a midwife for many years, I was seeing increasing rates of women not being very satisfied with their birthing experiences, increasing rates of women's health issues like endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is leading to fertility issues. And so now 1 in 5 couples usually are seeking fertility.
Wow. And
so just realizing that there's just so much, under there that is the cycles of life with women that is really driven by, hormonal health. And so when you think about it, if we can support girls through adolescence so that they can have healthy periods, setting them up for a healthy reproductive fertility situation, and then having positive pregnancies and breastfeeding and postpartum periods. And then also as the hormones are starting to decline and women entering into perimenopause and menopause, where oftentimes women are experiencing something like 200 plus, symptoms. And also, talking to and really understanding about what the aging process is like for women as they're, as they're heading into their menopausal years. And so just really feeling so much passion and power about supporting women and couples and families throughout those cycles. And
reading your bio a little bit earlier on, your rationale seems to be more holistic than drugs. Would I be right with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I've been in the complementary sort of realm for a really long time, and the underlying approach is root and branch. And so you're treating symptoms, you're helping to alleviate symptoms, whether it be pain, whether it be night sweats, whether it be depression, but also looking at underlying root causes. And so I do this through traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbal therapies, mineral and vitamin support, diet, lifestyle, in different ways. And so that is sort of the underlying thread through all of the therapies that I do. At Crawford, what I will mainly be focusing on is acupuncture and some of the specialties that I've really focused on is women's health and fertility, and also, of course, pain. We know that pain is very well treated with acupuncture, and some of the other, and then I've also done additional training in cosmetic and facial acupuncture, and and what's unique about the sort of my approach to cosmetic acupuncture, again, it goes back to that root and branch. And so when you look at somebody's face, and whether you're doing facial acupuncture or microneedling, LED light therapy, you can get a sense for what might be some of the underlying reasons for whether you're getting, redness in the face or dark circles or swelling in your eyes. And so I put in body points as well to support the body's kind of underlying, imbalances that might be appearing in the face. And also with the facial acupuncture and the microneedling, I'm not putting anything artificial into your body.
Like a Botox or something
exactly.
like that.
And so all we're doing, the approach is that we're stimulating your body to increase its natural collagen production, elastin, and as well as applying, because with the microneedling, you're increasing the absorption of anything that you put on the face by 3,000, percent, or 3,000%. That if you use serums with high hyaluronic acid and vitamin C and collagen, that you're also improving the production. So you're giving like the food for your body to be able to naturally increase its elastin and collagen production.
Full disclosure, I've had acupuncture. I used to be quite a serious runner a few years ago, and I had a niggling injury that I couldn't get rid of, and I tried everything. I tried even a naturopath, and he was very good, but it just wouldn't go away, and it was in my ankle, my right ankle. And somebody suggested Chinese medicine, and being a bloke and being a Kiwi bloke, I thought, oh yes, I don't know if I can do that. But it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'd do it like a drop of a hat now. It's just, it fixed me up in double quick time, and it was painless. It was just incredible.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that acupuncture can treat anything, really. And it's just the way that we see the system and the channels that are all throughout the body. And so some channels are really deep and some of are more superficial. And so you're just kind of matching the conditions with what needs, either, maybe there's some movement that needs to happen, or increasing in this or decreasing in dampness or something like that. So it's really quite amazing. And and then also I can incorporate herbs, and so if I feel like somebody might be a little bit depleted and herbs might help, we can add in that vitamin and mineral, and so these are like basically your supplements, that sort of thing, diet, lifestyle. So there's a whole like I guess arsenal of sort of tips and tricks that we can add into the mix to help really support people in finding balance and finding well-being, and just living really happy, healthy lives.
When we first got the call that we were going to do this, I sort of did a little bit of research, and when I first saw Life Cycles, I thought, cycling, I love cycling.
So do I.
I know, I read about it, and running as well, so we're going to be friends. And you won't know this, folks, because it's radio, but Melissa's perched on what isn't a very big chair, but you're obviously very, very flexible as well.
Yeah, I am a yoga instructor as well, but not doing that so much. So, yeah. So,
And is that all part of the whole wellness thing, like whole of body? Because people say if you get into a bit of yoga, it de-stresses you. It obviously physically helps you as well, but mentally too. Is that what this is all about for you?
Yeah, I mean, Life Cycles does have the element of Life Cycles that we do have community classes, and so I do have classes that are funded by Te Whata Ora, and one of them is a pregnancy move, stretch, breathe class, and also free breastfeeding, antenatal breastfeeding classes. And what I say to my women, I also teach childbirth education classes, and what I talk to them about is, yoga is really just mindfulness. It's really the connection of the mind and the body. And so, and it's such a great tool to practice and to learn, like, for instance, in labor, but also in life. And so when one part of you or an aspect of you is feeling something uncomfortable, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, that if you can connect to your breath, connect to your mind, and keep your mind, it's like finding the calm in the eye of the storm, And so we'll often so that's often how I talk about labor, technique, riding the waves and being able to find that calm place and breathing through the contractions or whatever you're feeling that's uncomfortable. It can just help make things so much more manageable, Can we go back a step, because you mentioned you're a qualified midwife? Yes.
Now, I've heard the term, but is that from, this is the wrong way to say it, but is that from go to woe with the pregnancy? A midwife is involved right from the start? Is that how it works?
It can be. Like, I'm originally from America, and I moved actually to New Zealand for the midwifery system. And because in New Zealand, maternity care is mostly midwifery led, and so midwives are sort of really the experts in the normal physiological process, and we do everything to sort of preserve that. But then, of course, when things step outside of normal, then we call on obstetricians.
Sure.
And so the beauty of the system here in New Zealand is that there are so many different roles for midwives. And so you can work as a case-loading midwife, which is what you're talking about, is that the midwives, you build a relationship with your midwife during your pregnancy. They're there to attend your labor and birth, and then they look after you for 4 to 6 weeks postpartum at home, postnatally. But then you also have options to work in hospital as a core or a staff midwife, and so that you might be only doing the antenatal clinics and the postnatal, or you might just be doing labor and birth. And so it really is, it's great because it allows the midwife to really decide what art of midwifery they really feel like resonates with them.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there's lots of different opportunities. I was a case-loading midwife for a really long time. And then when I started my own family, just the on-call work wasn't really working. And also I felt like, because I knew that I had these other sort of tools and passion, that it was more about just supporting women just through the pregnancy and the birthing process, that I really felt like, like that's kind of the center of the pond, but really like hormonal health and
the ripples
and
going
the
out.
ripple outwards,
Yes.
that you really need to start with young girls and talking to them about adolescence and what is normal and about hormonal health right from the beginning. And the choices that you make will impact your fertility, can impact your labor and birth, can impact breastfeeding, can impact, your perimenopause and your menopausal state. So I just sort of felt like, how can I support a larger, like women in a more, like, how do I describe this? Like in a larger scope,
Yes.
versus just sort of the one-on-one, providing labor and birth care, which is
And was what you're doing now, was that always your calling? When you were a young girl, did you think that this is what I want my life to be?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but the thing is that similar to like moving to New Zealand, from America, like you never stumble on these places. It's like you're called to it. And so
Yes.
I always knew that I was involved. I was really interested in natural health. So I did go to school to be a naturopath. And in the States, our training is similar to like a primary care physician. And so we do go through a pretty rigorous program, which is, I think, really, I think it's really served me in my career as a midwife and in my training as an acupuncturist, because I do have this medical, background. And then when I was in school, I just started taking midwifery courses and just really fell in love with it.
Yep.
And just really felt called. And then I also felt called to start to step away from it, which is, I think, a really responsible thing to do, because a lot of midwives stay in the career when,
Too long, perhaps?
Yeah, it's hard work,
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I'm sure.
So
It must be hard, as much as it's hard physically, it must be hard mentally as well.
Yeah, it is. I think you get better at really being able to, the word with midwife means with women. So I think it's your ability to be with somebody and support them in their process. It's more about like holding space, but it does take a while to really establish boundaries and be able to, kind of define like where your emotions start and where they need to stop. I think it's something that we always, like, midwives are just, I think in general, pretty reflective people. And I think that we're always trying to, we're always looking at that.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Let's get back to the Crawford Wellness Centre. I know in the past, like talking to the other people we've interviewed over the last month or so, you don't necessarily have to be a registered patient at Crawford's to take advantage of this, do you?
No, not at all. And so yeah, exactly, which is so wonderful, hey? Although I must say the doctors and the nurses at Crawford are very lovely to work with, and I feel pretty well supported and welcomed by them already, even though it's only been a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're right. So I'm an independent practitioner, and so to contact me or to book through me, you'd go through Life Cycles,
yes,
or contact me directly. yeah, and I think most of I'm not really sure. I think some of the practitioners there are independent and might be, I'm not really sure, but yes, you're right. And so it is just anybody can come in and anybody can book in for facial acupuncture, LED light therapy, microneedling. Yeah. So it's available. Yeah.
And you're enjoying it, obviously?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I've been looking for a place to kind of put down some roots in a different way, and it just really felt like the right fit.
Well, let's talk about putting down roots, because you didn't for quite some time. You went travelling.
That's true, yeah. I didn't think this was going to come up, but yes.
Was that all part of the world experience, or?
What was that? That was a time in my life that I really felt like I needed to step away from midwifery. And what happened was that I actually met somebody. I had just turned 40, and I had met somebody, and I really had to have some conversations with myself and realize that that it was time to water my own garden.
Okay.
And so when...
It's a lovely way of putting it.
Yeah, it's really time to that this could be the last opportunity for me to actually have my own family. And I had been helping couples, become families for 15 years or something like that. And I just felt like, wow, this is my time. And so, and I met someone, and we were both super passionate about traveling. And so we made the commitment pretty early on in our relationship. And then we finished renovating a house that I had, and we kind of sold everything that we owned and packed up 2 pretty small backpacks. Like, the backpacks were carry-ons. And so
oh, wow.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we set off, and we just traveled. And my partner he's a digital nomad, or he was a digital nomad at that time. And so he was working. And so, we just kind of set off, and we ended up, we didn't know how long we were going to be gone for. We ended up going for about 5.5 years. And in that time, we had our son, Marlo, it's been amazing. And I guess the difference when you're traveling with kind of no end date is that, and to make it affordable, you travel quite slowly.
Yes.
And really, which gives you a different perspective. And so we would stay in typically residential, like Airbnb. So we're staying in residential areas. So we're going to the grocery stores and the farmers markets and the mom and pop restaurants, and not touristy places. So you'd really get to immerse yourself in a culture, especially when you get to stay there in one place for 3-4 weeks sometimes. And so... yeah.
What a wonderful way to see the world.
Yeah, it was. And, for Marlo, it was...
Yeah, what a wonderful introduction to the world.
Yeah, and for the first 3.5 years of his life, it was the 3 of us.
Yep.
We were so tightly knit and so bonded and just together, 24/7, that I think it was a really wonderful kind of start to our lives together, like our family unit. And I feel so grateful that we did that, because... nowadays, and with with COVID happening, which is what stopped us in our tracks,
sure.
and just with Marla being older and life just being more complex, and me wanting to put down roots to start a practice, that I just feel really grateful that we did have that experience. And yeah.
All right, we're slowly but surely running out of time here, but just go through what you do at Crawford and how people can get in touch.
Yeah, sure. So if you go to the website, which is lifecycles.nz, thanks. And you have my email there. You can contact me. You can also do a 30-minute free consultation, and you'll see the whole grocery list. I've got a menu of all the services that are available, but, really just incorporating my midwifery work, naturopathy, acupuncture, facial, cosmetic therapies, microneedling, LED light therapies. And I'm going to make a very concerted effort to do a lot more writing and posting blogs and content and all that, because really getting the word out about the different services, and also a lot more about kind of hormonal health and about the different cycles of life. So that's something that you can look forward to in 2026.
And are you, I guess, on call's the wrong word, but are you full-time at the wellness centre or just part-time?
We're just starting out part-time. I still do a little bit of midwifery work that's not on call. Just kind of starting things slowly and kind of, again, seeing how it all works out. And I still have a few other things that I do in the community. So we'll just see. Ideally, let's see what happens. So come knock on my door, and then we'll hopefully be there more days. So
awesome, fantastic. See, I told you it'd be a piece of cake. That's Melissa, folks. She is 20 years experience as a midwife, a naturopath, and also an acupuncturist. She's right into the traditional Chinese medicine techniques. If you've got any queries at all, you can get a hold of her through her website, which is www.lifecycles, all one word, .nz, or you can contact her via the Crawford Wellness Centre, which is up there at number 2 Picton Street in Howick. Thank you very much for your time. I've learned a lot. I really have. It's been awesome.
Well, I've really enjoyed this, so thanks so much for inviting me.
All right. Okay, let's get back into the music here at East FM.